Hello, guys. Welcome to this new episode of Mind Podcast. We're back after a little break, but we're back with part two of the Karnataka elections. We're waiting for the right time, and we got fantastic podcast lined up for you. As always, I have with me author, columnist, and podcaster, and our good friend and Mind Podcast champion, Kishor Narayan. Hi, Kishor.
Thank you, Aadit. Always glad to be back with you.
No, absolutely. I should say Karnataka Visheshagya. Yeah. I don't know. What is the Kannada word for Visheshagya?
Vishleshanakara.
Vishleshanakara. Vishleshanakara Karnataka Kishor Avaru. Mind podcast में उनका स्वागत है. How's that?
People will carry on their shoulders if you talk this much.
So I've always told Kishore I love learning new languages, and hopefully one of these days he's going to teach me a little bit of Kannada, at least spoken Kannada. I cannot claim to be as fast as the late Sushma Swaraj ji, who was brilliant the way she picked up Kannada and stuff. And it's almost there are two national politicians who you cannot not name when you talk about the state of Karnataka. And I'm not talking about the politicians from Karnataka. I'm talking about two people, Indira Gandhi and Sushma Swaraj, because both at very interesting point of times revived their respective parties' fortunes in the state of Karnataka. Indira Gandhi, obviously, after Udupi Chikmagalur seat, where she fought in 1977, I think, or 1980, I forget. 1980. 77 emergency ke baad wala elections, and Sushma Swaraj in Bellary 1999, where she was fighting against Sonia Gandhi, and although she lost, the amount of headway she made in 15 days, and since then BJP has been the de facto party of choice for people from Karnataka in the Lok Sabha. And that's the reason I mentioned this, is that is how important that one election was, that from 2004 to currently, Congress has not been able to win, I think, more than 9-10 seats, I think, in the Lok Sabha.
Yeah.
And Karnataka is a big state, 28 Lok Sabha seats, right? So JDS would get its usual 2 or 3. Last time to wo bhi nahi mili, but you could have banked on Bangalore rural, Hassan and Tumakaru, or one of the other. They would do some setting with the Congress, or sometimes even with the BJP. But here, that is the brief I have. But we are here today to talk about, now we are into the full campaign mode of the Karnataka elections. We are 3 weeks away from the polls, and 3 weeks away from the results as well, so to speak, because we should have the results in 3 days after the state goes to polls. So we thought it was a good time to give you a preview. Ab to next 2-3 weeks of rhetoric, campaign, rallies, that'll all take place. But for the most part, most parties have announced their candidates, which is also good and unusual, that the candidates were almost given a month or more than 3 weeks to campaign. In a lot of states, we've seen that candidates get announced at the very last moment. So this is not to say that this was a very well in advance, but this was still more, many candidates were announced more in advance than before. So Kishore, what have you heard so far? What are your takeaways from Karnataka, and a brief overview for everyone?
JDS, I think, was the first of the mark. They came out with a big list to begin with, but then they got stuck immediately after that when it came to Hassan Assembly constituency. We'll come to that a little later. But they obviously, they are like the Aam Aadmi Party in Gujarat. Why do I say so? Because they want to take all the discarded aspirational candidates from the other parties, give them a JDS ticket, and see how far they can go. So that was their plan. Congress, on the other hand, they came out with installments. So that was also there. So there was a brief time when both the parties were accusing BJP, hey, you haven't even come out with a list, no matter how small it would be. But then BJP being BJP, they came out all guns blazing. I think in one single day, they had around 140, 150 names in one single list.
I think even more, closer to 180 or something, right? Wasn't it?
Pretty much, I think. Yeah.
189 candidates.
189. Okay, yeah. So and they immediately followed it up with another list within maybe 48 hours. So that was the time when BJP started telling, hey, you know what? It's now your time to buckle up and announce the names for
Yeah,
the other constituencies. So that was the kind of rhetoric that we saw. But then what was important was about all the names that were being listed, and we saw quite fascinating trends and trying to make sense of all the names that had come out. And that was where we are currently. The last date
mm,
was I think on Friday
mm,
when people had to file their nominations. Yeah, on Thursday and Friday was the last day to for scrutiny. Monday is the last day for uh, withdrawing their nomination. So we now have a fair idea of who is pitted against whom in every constituency.
mm, mm.
And yeah, now the stage is all set for the big guns, including the PM himself, to come down, have carpet bombing in their usual style. We
Yes,
also have people from Congress also coming down for their rally. So everything will be keenly watched. Obviously, for Karnataka, Congress is a big player. For Congress, Karnataka is a big state that they can definitely not underestimate. So you will have a lot of tutu meme happening in the next 10-15 days.
absolutely. And we will bring you all of it here on Mindmakers. Of course, Kishore and I will sit and do a post poll analysis as well. But before that, before we go down to the list, if you haven't, guys, please hit the pause button and go listen to part one of our podcast where we've laid out the context of how the Karnataka politics takes place. Now, having said that, then come back and do part two. I would love you guys to, listen to both the parts. So let's, Kishore, let's start going through the list, right? What do you think? What do you think about this list? If I were to just look, if I were to just look at this list, I'm sorry, I was trying to share and I hit stop sharing accidentally. But basically, which district would you like to go with first? Actually, before we even talk about the list, let me actually show the map of Karnataka, the district map of Karnataka, so that people have an idea, right? So, Kishore, can you talk about the regions of Karnataka once again briefly before we get into district by district analysis?
Yeah. So what you see in the northwest corner, Belgaum, Dharwad, Bagalkot. So that was the quintessential Bombay Karnataka,
Good.
which was part of the Bombay Presidency. So
Yes.
that's Belgaum district, as you can see in the map, is a big one. It has around 18 seats, one single
Mhm.
district. And then you also have on the
And a significant
northeastern
Marathi
corner.
speaking population also in
Oh,
Belgaum, because
oh yes, oh
that's
yes,
the whole Maharashtra Karnataka issue over Belgaum or Belgavi.
exactly. Belagavi is what we call in
Yes.
Kannada, but yeah. And on the northeastern corner, you have Hyderabad, Karnataka, which once upon a time belonged to the Hyderabad Nizam. And then
Hmm.
you have the central Karnataka, which is the Davangere, Chitradurga, Haveri, Shimoga, that belt.
Hmm.
Down below, you have the old Mysuru region belonging to the Mysore Royal Kingdom. Bangalore is looked at separately simply because of its vast number of seats and also the sheer demographic differences that you have with the OMR region.
So let's talk about the
And
stalwarts of.
no, just
Sorry.
one more region, the coastal Karnataka, Uttara Kannada, Udupi, and Dakshina Kannada.
Hmm.
They again vote differently, and they are considered as a different region by itself.
So
Yeah.
what I was going to say is let's go by district and talk about the stalwarts, right? So Gulbarga is the region of Mallikarjun Kharge, right?
Yeah.
You have Belgaum, like I said, used to be, significant Marathi speaking populations as well, and some Lingayat dominant seats also
Mm.
in the region. Then you
Yes.
have the Dharwad area where the Hubli Dharwad region was used to be, at least Jagdish Shettar used to have one seat, but Jagdish Shettar, whether he will be of influence in more than one seat or not is what we'll decide. um, Shimoga obviously would be BS Yediyurappa area, right? So and then Udupi Chikmagalur, like we were talking about. Hassan is Devegowda Central. That's the
Uh,
Gowda family's
yeah,
thing. That and parts of Tumakaru. Mandya, Ambarish used to be Ambarish's seat when he was in the Congress. Now his wife Sumalata Ambarish represents. And
she has now supported BJP, telling
correct.
I openly support BJP, although I cannot join the BJP simply because I am an independent MP. But
Hmm.
now she is openly campaigning for the party as well.
Correct. So that makes them a force with over there as well. And this is the old Mysore belt where you have Ramanagara, Bangalore rural, Chikbalpura, where there is Chikbalpura is Virappa Moili, I think used to get elected, if I'm not mistaken, from Chikbalpura.
He is not from that region. He is from
Huh.
coastal Karnataka,
Huh.
but just once he came and contested from there. Yeah.
Huh. It is, yeah, it's also, I mean, like, I will remember all the strange Lok Sabha statistics that people will forget. So that, and Kolar is the KGF, where you guys are thinking the KGF movies. Kolar, basically, that's where Kolar is, or they are set in Kolar. This is where the gold used to be. This used to be a seat where Congress could not lose, and BJP managed to even win this
Mm.
seat in 2019. That
Yes.
Kolar is the biggest shocking thing. And then you have the Bellary, where the mining brothers, the Bellary brothers, this is essentially that's the seat. But then they are we talked about that their candidate in the last podcast. I don't want to go all into detail and stuff, but so what would you label as the strongholds of each parties, if you want to talk about that? Northeast Karnataka, you were saying.
Yeah, Northeast Karnataka is where you have a significant Lingayat population, so they generally vote for the BJP. We had spoken about the reasons for that in our previous episode. So that is where BJP is quite strong. Northeastern Karnataka, the Hyderabad Karnataka, was where Congress was very, very, very strong historically, and that is where BJP has been able to make significant inroads by trying to convince the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and the Lamani as well.
Especially in the Bidar,
Uh,
Bijapur, and Gulbarga regions. That's where BJP has gained quite a bit.
Bidar, Gulbarga, yeah, you're right. So yeah, that entire straight line that you can draw is where you have that BJP trying to make inroads out there. Small pockets of JDS influence simply because of the local leaders. But anyway, central Karnataka again, totally BJP, simply because of the stalwarts that you have had, Ishwarappa, Yediyurappa, all of them. That has helped them to remain a potent force there. Old Mysore region is where you have a lot of Vokkaliga population. They used to generally vote for Janata Dal Secular. So this is where again that community did not prefer BJP at the state level, and therefore you never had BJP making good inroads at the state level. Centrally, again, point to note, Karnataka generally votes differently in a state election and a central election, so you cannot generally extrapolate result A with result B. That will be too much of a comparison. But going to coastal Karnataka again, an out and out Hindutva region, people generally vote along. They do not vote along caste lines. It is more of a nationalistic fervor. So again, BJP very strong there.
So I have to
So
say,
yeah, and just to set the context, last time around, BJP did well in coastal, BJP did well in central, Bangalore, and Kittur Karnataka, which is Mumbai Karnataka. They could not do so well in Hyderabad Karnataka, and obviously they had a very small presence in the OMR region. When I say
absolutely.
OMR, it is Old Mysore region. Yeah.
No, I have to say, share one very hilarious thing. We talk about Janta Dal and stuff like that, right? Here is a brief snippet of what the madness that was Janta Dal. So there used to be one Janta Party or one Janta Dal, and there was a Janta Dal was a merger of Janta Party, Janta Party Secular, Lok Dal, INC Jagjeevan, Jan Morcha, and TMK base TMM. I'm sorry. So they merged and then they split split again, and this is what they split into. This is the pro NDA Janata parties, RLJP. This is Ramvilas Paswan wala and Lok Awaz Dal, and then these are the non-JDA Jan Adhikarik Party, Rashtriya Lok Dal, Indian National Lok Dal. Isme there is Janata Dal secular also of Deve Gowda. Usse pehle you had the Janata Dal led by JH Patel and stuff. And the reason I brought it up is that the maximum, I think, the height of JDS's popularity was the 2004 election, where they got 58 out of 224 seats. I don't think I have seen Janata Dal JDS do that well when Dharam Singh became the CM with JDS support, and then Kumaraswamy, of course, broke there, and you had the infamous JDS BJP alliance, and then 7-day chief ministership of BS Yediyurappa, and then 2008 they come back to power.
Right. So 1999 again, S.M. Krishna was the chief minister. 5 years of Congress rule. He was voted out anti-incumbency. So that was when 2004 was when both BJP and JDS did well. And ideally, it would have been a good situation for them to go together. But that did not happen. You had Congress and JDS forming an alliance. So that was when you had Dharam Singh becoming the chief minister.
Yeah,
again, not a popular government as well.
And at that time, JDS was led by a guy called Siddaramaiah, who is now the Congress leader in the state in 2004. And that was the whole issue, because Kumaraswamy did not get the hold in JDS. That is why he split the JDS. And then, of course, Siddaramaiah goes. So this is of course, now S.M. Krishna is in the BJP, and B.S. Yediyurappa is back to where he was in the BJP. But that's why I showed you guys that this is the madness. This all happened in last 18 years, guys. After 18 years, so a voter that was born in 2004, this is probably going to be their first election to vote, and this is how the state looked in 2004. And this is right now, SM Krishna is essentially retired, BS Yediyurappa is retired, Siddaramaiah is the Congress, and he's tired. So that is the unfortunate reality.
Tired but not retired.
Yeah, I have to use Venkaiah Naidu ji. I have to give him, hat tip. It's like one is tired and one is retired, like he would have said. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so those are the regions that we have, and that's how we generally look at. Each region votes differently, of course, just like how we have in other parts of India. But then some regions where nationalistic fervor takes precedence over community, over demographics. Regions like Old Mysore region is where you have caste-based voting, and obviously the impact is different.
So then, Kishor, let's look at something very clearly here. Okay, let's look at seat by seat. Okay, what we're talking about. So what seat would you like to focus on? We'll take that district and we'll look at those seats. And we are not going to cover all 228 seats, right? It's sorry, 224 seats. It's impossible to do. So we're going to look at the key contests, right, where there have been fights. And one of those big contests is Varuna, where Siddaramaiah is fighting again, right? So how would you describe that?
Okay. Kannada pro tip number 1, it is Varuna, not Varuna.
Varuna. Okay.
Yeah, Varuna in the Varuna god.
No, so here is the funny thing. Gujaratis normally would call it Varuna as well, but I have had talked to non-Gujarati people who will say this is Varuna instead of Varuna. So that's why, otherwise, because Gujaratis would also say Varuna. That's why my name has 2 A's, not just 1 A. So good to know. There is some similarity there. But yes.
Why do we say Varuna? Because we have a Varuna canal coming from the Kaveri river to that region. The name of the canal is Varuna, and that's why that constituency is named after that. Pro tip number 2, before I talk about Varuna, it is Mandya, not Mandya, like how people from Delhi would want to refer to it. Mandya, yes. Yes. Okay, so coming to Varuna, new constituency after delimitation, Siddaramaiah has been contesting from, say, 2004, I think. That's when we had delimitation happening. So after that, he has won a few times. Now, 2018 is when he shifted from there, thinking that he will give this seat to his son, Yatindra, and he would move to the neighboring Chamundeshwari constituency. And that's when he
Correct.
lost spectacularly from Chamundeshwari, the one next to it. And what happened then was he was the sitting chief minister. In his mind, he was very popular, and there was no way he could lose that election. And somehow heaven fell down on him, and even to this day, he has that grief and sadness for having lost
Correct.
that election. He. I mean, he has so much of arrogance with regards to that he thinks that people made him lose when he was not supposed to. So that's the kind of
And
thought
he did
process
not
that
lose
he
by a
thinks.
small margin. He lost by 15% margin. So 36,000 votes. So it was not like a 400 vote. In fact, in 2006, he barely won it by 257 votes in the by poll.
It goes to show how unpopular he was. I mean, they
Yeah.
had won around one when he came to power. They had around 123. Then when he
Hmm.
lost power, they had fallen down to 80.
Correct.
So that was how unpopular his government was. For
Hmm.
all the harakiri that they commit now, when
Yeah.
telling that Congress government was the best that we had,
Hmm. Hmm.
people just did not think along those lines. So Varuna
Correct.
again is one to watch.
Hmm.
Why? Because you have a BJP sending in a sitting minister to
Hmm.
contest from there. He is a Lingayat.
Hmm.
Obviously, caste equations play a role here. So
Absolutely.
BJP
Hmm.
now hopes that Lingayat and Vokkaligas would vote for Somanna.
Yeah. So
He
it
is
would be
the
a united
minister.
Hindu vote for the BJP.
And you have the Kurubas, the community
Hmm.
to which Sidramaya belongs to. Kurubas,
Hmm.
a bit of Muslim votes, and
Hmm.
hotspots of the other smaller number communities is what people are thinking would happen. Now, again, this is from the old Mysuru region. So JDS
Hmm.
is still a potent force in the entire region. And BJP is trying to ensure that the Gaudas would vote for them and not for JDS. So that is
Hmm.
why this constituency is becoming more and more interesting and intriguing as days pass.
Hmm.
Now,
Absolutely.
just below, I mean, within the same region, now that we are talking about old Mysuru region, maybe you can also check Kanakapura in the absolute
Before we go
corner.
to before we took to Karnataka, I wanted to talk about Hubli Dharwad Central, right? That's why, because that is the
Okay.
seat, that's the safe BJP seat, and Jagdish Shettar used to hold this for a while, and he basically quit the BJP and joined the Congress because of that. So does the Congress have a chance, or is Jagdish Shettar that popular in that seat? Because from what I have told and what people have told me is that he's not very popular in that seat.
He is not very popular. That
Hmm.
is obvious. He
Hmm.
had an aura for about himself. Again, a person who thinks too much about himself, just like
Yeah, yeah.
Sidramaya.
We
Now, unfortunately, things came crashing down for him. He did not
We
take the idea
Gujaratis call
of
it the Keshubhai
political.
Patel complex.
Exactly, very similar to that. He did not take the idea of electoral retirement too well. There are other
Hmm.
people who agreed to it within the BJP. Jagdish Shettar somehow did not.
Hmm.
He let out a lot of bad blood when he did that.
Hmm.
He famously shifted over. Mahesh Tengenka is the BJP candidate, a native to that region,
Hmm.
quite a known face within there. So it'll be a
Okay.
straight fight between the two. And what people are telling us, Jagdish Shettar will not be able to take all the votes. In fact, people would be surprised if he is able to take even 5% of votes with him. So
Wow.
probably BJP would want to make him lose spectacularly, and
Hmm.
therein would lie a message telling when we therein would lie a message to all the BJP leaders all over the country, telling
Hmm.
when we think that it's time for you to retire, it's better that you actually go and retire. So I think BJP would definitely want to prove a point there. Kanakapura
Absolutely.
again,
Kanakapura is
Kanakapura
DK
again.
Shivakumar land.
Yeah, the Kishma Republic of Kanakapura, how people talk about it. We
Yes.
have covered it in an old
In a
article,
previous
5-year
podcast.
old article.
Yes.
Yeah, so DK Shivakumar, he believes that it is his time now to become the chief minister. He is the KPCC president, and winning there should not be a question. Although you have a sitting minister coming and challenging him, BJP is actually doing that a lot this time around. You have a lot of people going and challenging leaders
Correct
from
me
the
if I'm
other
wrong.
parties.
R. Ashoka was the home minister, right? At one point
At
of
one
time?
point in time, not now, but yes.
Yeah.
He was. He comes
Mm.
from Bangalore city,
Mm.
so even for him, he this is getting out of his comfort zone. Both of them are
Correct.
Wakaligas, but winning in Kanakapura would be too much of an ask even for Ashok. But anyway, the point is that what BJP is trying right now is to ensure that these people, Sidramaya, yeah, Kumaraswamy,
Mm.
Shivkumar, they are tied to their constituency simply because they cannot afford to win by a small margin. They being state level leaders, they need to win by a large margin. So BJP
Correct.
hopes that they tie these people up with it to their constituency, and then
Yeah.
BJP's electoral machinery will work its charm. Is what BJP would
And,
think.
and that's why I was showing briefly the Padmanabhan Nagar seat because R. Ashok is a sitting MLA from there. So I think that seat is assured for the BJP. So and then
Yes.
he's going to go and campaign in Kanakapura, which is in the Ramanagara district, which is where the Govda family is also in the Ramanagara district. 2 of the 4 MLAs or 5 MLA seats, 2 of them are the Kumaraswamy family, HD Kumaraswamy and Nikhil Kumaraswamy. So it's Ramanagara for a 5-seat district, 5 assembly constituent district has 3 very high
Four.
profile contests.
Yeah. Yes.
4, I'm
And
sorry, 4,
you
not
have.
even 5, 4 seats. 4, yeah.
Yeah, this was part of Bangalore rural, and
Correct.
when Kumaraswamy became the chief minister, he carved out the Ramnagara district, and Kumaraswamy is obviously contesting from Channapatna. That is where he has been contesting for a long time now. BJP candidate CP Yogeshwar again is a sitting minister, and
Yeah.
he has won from there earlier on an SP ticket, Samajwadi Party ticket. So.
And a BJP ticket. So
and that as well, yeah. So what you have now is a tight fight in Channapatna, Yogeshwar versus Kumaraswamy, and people are telling that obviously the margin will not be that big for Kumaraswamy. I will not be surprised if Yogeshwar can actually pull it off.
Wow, really?
I will not be surprised because he is a localite. He has a lot of goodwill for him. He has worked hard on rejuvenation of water bodies in that district. So there is a lot of goodwill for him.
What is interesting for me is I think there used to be a leader Bangarappa. He had shifted to Samajwadi Party, and that's why Samajwadi Party had that 1 or 2 elections. That's what I recall as a very young kid. I'm aging myself here. As a young kid, I recall SP would take out front page ads with Bangarappa winning something, and there was this other fellow they had called Kiranmay Nanda who was getting in West Bengal. And they're like, now we are a national party. We have Mulayam Singh, Kiranmay Nanda, and this Bangarappa and Amitabh Bachchan as their brand ambassador, who was telling people to vote for cycle. Ab to shayad Amit ji must have forgotten also what all he has told to vote for when he used to be the older brother of Amar Singh. But tab ki baat hai wo.
Yes, I mean Bangarappa actually he also had his own party, Karnataka Congress Party (KCP), and
Another
this
version
was
of Congress.
This was after he was the chief minister while in Congress. So he was known for that. He used to spin out parties every couple of years. But then anyway, he I mean, in fact, both his sons, one is in the JDS, one is in BJP. Both of them fight for the same seat, brothers, and they don't see eye to eye. So that is a brother contest that we are witnessing in Shimoga district. Kumar
Wow. So
Bangarappa and Madhu Bangarappa.
that's another sort of situation then. And
Yeah.
that is another sort of situation. So let's go to Hassan then. Hassan is a very interesting thing because you have HD Revanna and HK Kumaraswamy's situation, right? So how do you deal
No,
with that? Like,
this is not the same. This is a different person. We can ignore him.
no. The reason this is a different person, but but he's a six-time MLA. He's a senior leader. He's not related to HD Kumaraswamy. I should have. No, I mean, I'm aware. He's a six-time MLA. The reason I bring this up is because Devegowda is seen to now be favoring more of his sons than these old voices that brought JDS to prominence. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, and this time around, BJP has a very formidable candidate there in Sakleshpur. So again, BJP can snatch it. In fact, Hassan is where all the action is. Pritam Gowda had won in Hassan Assembly constituency. Pritam Gowda of the BJP had won a very, very handsome victory last time around. And this time around, he is very confident to repeat it. Now, there is a lot of bad blood between him and Revanna, the elder brother of Kumaraswamy. And this is actually JDS bastion, according to the Gowda family. So they do not want a person like Pritam Gowda to challenge their control and authority in that district. So Bhavani Revanna, wife of Revanna, she wanted to contest from there and make it a personal ego battle. And somehow Kumaraswamy did not agree to it. And you now have a straight fight between a party worker versus a party worker, Swaroop and Pritam Gowda. And luckily for JDS, they spent too much time just on discussion of just one particular seat. They wasted a lot of time. They could have actually focused on many other better things for them. But that's how things are right now. But the whole family has won again. They are now campaigning for Swaroop in that constituency. But Hassan city would be something to watch out for.
So before we get into the next list of constituencies, right? What are your key takeaways from the candidate list so far? If you were to give a brief sort of a 1-2 minute overview on this.
A year ago, you had PFI activists murdering BJP Karyakartas in a few pockets in the state. The anger shown by BJP Karyakartas across the state was through the roof. People were mighty angry. The state government recommended to the center to ban PFI. STPI is their political wing. Everybody knows that. So BJP had to take the Karyakartas into confidence. So what you see now, especially in that coastal belt, especially in Shimoga region, is BJP actually giving tickets to the young Karyakartas or people whom generally people outside that constituency would not have heard. In fact, there is a seat called Sulya in coastal Karnataka, where you have a one-time maid who then became an Anganwadi teacher, who is now contesting on a BJP ticket. So a pretty, I mean, if you are from outside that constituency, you would definitely not have heard that name. And you would be surprised to see why these names come into the list. But BJP is going hammer and tongs with this kind of a message telling that we are a party of the Karyakartas, and we would definitely want to see them go up the ladder in the political circles. So I think that's the key takeaway for BJP.
So this time then, you are having a lot of people within the BJP also, senior leaders sort of retiring, right? So what do you make of those? And this is almost an end of an era in Karnataka politics, that way, if one sees.
People just know about Jagdish Shettar, who did not retire. He went to Congress. Yediyurappa, of course, everybody knows. But the other names are also important. You have a 6-time MLA, Haladi Srinivas Shetty from Kundapur. You have Ishwarappa, everybody knows about him. He retired just a week ago without any fuss. And then you have other people as well, aged people who have retired. So yes, end of an era within state BJP. But then BJP has ensured that if these people were from a particular community, then that community should not feel disappointed or disheartened. And
Right.
party has ensured that there is enough representation for all these communities. So that is what they are looking at. And again, Karyakarta is the most important criteria from what I have observed.
But then, how do you think? How does this change in terms of the greater Karnataka situation?
Um, I think the Karyakartas will feel all the more motivated to work for this.
Hmm.
See, the whole issue that one needs to understand is the vote share percentages are pretty much hardened in
Hmm.
Karnataka. You have BJP stuck at around 36, 37, 38, Congress
Mhm.
stuck at around 37, 38, 39, and nobody
Hmm.
gives an inch. So it's very difficult to poach even half a percent, 1%, and that's where things are. But with this kind of a list, I think the BJP workers would be all the more motivated. Try to do that last minute booth level management, panna pramukh, that the usual strategies that they adopt. So I think
Hmm.
all that is where BJP thinks that you will have that last minute additional gains, hoping
Hmm.
that they can actually cross the midway mark.
Hmm. That brings me to another point, and then we'll go to the next thing. What do you think about coastal Karnataka? Right, that is where sort of there was some sort of polarization also in that. So, what is your take on that?
The polarization still remains. It
Hmm.
has always been polarized, that region.
Hmm.
But you also had the hijab in school issue, which ended
Hmm.
up becoming a national issue. So
Right.
again, law and order became a top priority back then. You had
Hmm.
the judiciary also stepping in. So even to this day, that region continues to be polarized, and
Mhm.
BJP will obviously do well. And now, when I spoke about Sulia as a constituency,
Hmm.
the reason why I bring it up again and again is when Praveen Netaru, the BJP Karyakarta, was hacked to death.
Hmm.
The local BJP MLA did not come to visit for around 3-4 days, and then
Wow.
state BJP president Nalin Kumar Katil, he came,
Hmm.
but very late, and there were
Hmm.
visuals of the local population trying to gherav him, trying to
Hmm.
topple the car, topple his car. So that was the level of anger. And within
Hmm.
3 months, in
Hmm.
a totally unrelated event, Modi had come to Mangalore for an
Hmm.
inauguration of an ONGC power plant. But then
Hmm.
the road show all the way from Mangaluru airport to Mangaluru city is around 12, 13 kilometers. And it was filled with people, not an inch to spare. So
Hmm.
message was loud and clear by the Karyakarta and by the local people who generally vote for
Hmm.
BJP, telling
Hmm.
somehow the local leadership, the state leadership, somebody that whom we don't trust that much now, especially in the
Hmm.
wake of the polarization
Hmm.
and the hijab issue. But we have no qualms with Modi. Modi continues to be as popular as ever, if not more. So again, I think the central BJP leadership would have taken all this into cognizance while charting out their strategy.
Okay, lovely. So now I want to go to the other second part of this same seats, and any specifics. I want you to talk a little bit about the Kolar and the Bangalore urban region. Reason I picked these two regions, right? Because Kolar used to be a Congress stronghold. Now BJP is in fight in most seats in Kolar. Bangalore urban used to be a BJP stronghold with Congress only capturing it during SM Krishna time or in the last election when Congress wrested some of the seats back. But are we likely to see again that 60-70% hold of BJP in Bangalore, getting your 12 out of 18, 14 out of 20 seats, something like that?
Okay, we'll take Kolar first. Yes,
Yeah.
you are right. Kolar has been a Congress stronghold.
Hmm.
In fact, Siddaramaiah wanted to contest from Kolar. Things did not pan out that way for him. So what you see now is a straight fight again between BJP Vartur Prakash, who is becoming more and more popular as days pass by, and the Congress candidate. So yeah, BJP for BJP, Kolar would be that kind that actually is where they just could not perform well. But you have a lot of SC scheduled caste population as well within Kolar district. So
Within Kolar.
any kind of any kind of gains that they make in that district will give them rich dividends in 2024 as well. So they would definitely want to have a good performance right now. Now, Bangalore Urban has 28 assembly constituencies, the largest in the entire state. Uh, what you had, I need to talk about this in greater detail. What you had in these 28, you had these local satraps, local leaders who would become MLA time and time again. So you have a 4-time MLA, you have a 5-time MLA on both sides of the aisle, both Congress and BJP. So, for example, you have Suresh Kumar of BJP from Rajajinagar. You have Ramalinga Reddy of BTM Layout. You have Dinesh Gundurao of Gandhinagar. Again, all these are 4-time, 5-time, 6-time MLAs. Now, one complaint that used to come out very loud and clear was all these winning candidates, they would do a lot of adjustment politics. When I say adjustment, they would somehow ensure that the opposite party would not field the same candidate the next time also. So,
UP wala
say for
technique.
example,
UP में भी
so
this है.
if it is a BJP stronghold, like for example Ashok from Padmanabh Nagar, the past 4-5 times, every time Congress has had a different candidate against him, and there is an open complaint that Ashok keeps winning simply because he is used to adjustment politics, and that is why this time, if rumor had to be believed, Ashok has been challenged to go and contest against Shivkumar as well in Kanakapura. No, this is
sorry.
Ashok against Shivkumar in Kanakapura.
Yeah. Correct.
So yeah, that's how things have been. Dinesh Gundurao, son of former Chief Minister Gundurao, 4th-time MLA from that constituency. So this is the kind of things we have. 28 last time around, I think BJP had 115, a little more than half a mark. And then when the 15 MLAs switched over from Congress and JDS to BJP, and Yediyurappa becoming the Chief Minister, 3 or 4 of them were actually from this region, from Bangalore city. They all eventually became ministers. So what you have now is all these 4-time, 5-time, 6-time MLAs. They now know, they have perfected the art of winning assembly elections. And it's quite tough for the other party to snatch it. There can be only 1 or 2 deviations. Say, for example, Krishna Bairagowda in Biatrayanpura can lose, and 1 or 2 more. So I think that way, very difficult for these hardened regions to actually switch colors. So you can still have BJP going all the way up to 17, and best case can be 18 out of 28, but not more than that. On the other hand, Congress cannot dip more than 11 or 10.
Yeah, and one thing is to be noticed. We said this in our previous podcast and before, in 2009, which was I think the benchmark for the absolute minimum that BJP can hold across India. 2 cities, 2 urban regions voted for BJP. Both are represented on this podcast. One is Ahmedabad, the other is Bengaluru. No, BJP did not sweep any other city conclusively. They had some segment, but these 2 cities were the only cities in 2009 that BJP swept.
Yes. So again, as I told you, Lok Sabha BJP, Lok Sabha Karnataka works totally differently as compared to a state election. So if you see BJP's growth in Karnataka during Lok Sabha elections, BJP now has 50% vote share. But in state level, it is still around the 38-39 mark. Arvind
Correct.
Limbavali is not contesting this time. His
Yeah,
wife is
his wife
has
is.
been
That's
given
what
the
I was
ticket.
showing. Correct.
Manjula Arvind
Manjula
Limbavali will
Arvind
be
Limbavali.
contesting this
Correct.
time.
That's why I pulled it up, because Arvind Limbavali was a long term, like 4 or 5 times MLA of the BJP from Mahadevpura, and again Bomanhalli, Bangalore South. These are all BJP strongholds in Bangalore.
In the
Same
recent
with,
past, yeah. In the reason being,
yeah.
Mahadevpura, Bomanhalli, you have a
Hmm,
lot of North Indians who have come down
hmm,
and settled down. So all
hmm.
these people generally would vote for BJP because of
Same with
their
in Rajaji Nagar as well. That is a seat which is in terms of demographics, that is a high number of Brahmin population as well, right? So that is why you have
no,
Suresh
that is
Jayanagar.
Jayanagar.
Yes.
Rajajinagar, where I used to vote earlier. Suresh Kumar is a gentleman, a five-time
Hmm.
MLA, I believe. So I think that way it's quite easy for him to continue winning. People
Yeah,
were thinking that he might also be asked to retire. Somehow
yeah.
BJP seems to have continued
No, and I
to
think
have confidence in
Suresh
him.
Kumar, not just he has actually been someone who's been worked, because I have heard of Suresh Kumar even long back. He won it in the SM Krishna wave of 1999. After, I'm
Yes.
sorry, like after that he won, and then he's continuously won since then, since 1994, 1999, all the way to, he's lost it once, I guess, but then he's won it in all other elections. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Bangalore is where BJP should do well,
hmm,
bagging more than 50%, 60% of the seats. So
mhm.
not too surprising.
Not
People
too
would
surprising.
hope for an easy BJP win there.
Those were the big, as we get into the last 15-20 minutes of the podcast, I want to focus on the swing regions this time. First we'll talk about the Lingayat dominated belt, your Shimogas and stuff like that, but then also you have the Tumakaru, Chikbalpur, they are all the swing regions, right? Chitradurga, usually BJP has done well, but the Lok Sabha MP has gone. And any other constituencies that Kishore you want to talk about, and then we'll of course
Uh,
end with predictions and everything. But I'll go back to sharing my screen and see which areas you want to talk about. We can start with Bellary, and then go
yeah.
further.
Okay, Bellary is where the Reddy brothers are very popular.
Hmm,
Janardhan Reddy, the eldest brother, he
hmm,
cannot step into Bellary, and he wanted
hmm,
to join BJP again, but
hmm,
BJP did not let him come back to the party. So he has floated his own party, and he is not contesting from Bellary district. He is contesting from
wow,
a neighboring district, from a seat called Gangavati. His
hmm,
wife is contesting against his brother. Number 94
hmm,
Bellary City, you have
hmm,
Somsekhar Reddy
hmm,
versus Aruna Lakshmi, who is the wife of Janardhan Reddy, his brother. So
hmm,
that is a constituency where BJP should actually still win against Aruna Lakshmi, but that's again a sibling rivalry
hmm,
where you would see BJP against old BJP.
hmm, hmm.
And
Interesting.
that apart, Gangavati, probably Janardhan Reddy can win there
Hmm,
as a small party head. But
hmm,
that apart, I don't think he will have any influence beyond that region, beyond that one single seat. Now,
hmm.
Bellary again is where Sri Ramulu will be contesting number 93, former
Hmm,
Deputy Chief Minister, a known Valmiki face, and
hmm.
again quite a popular leader in that region. So
Correct.
BJP has done a lot of social engineering this time around, trying to
Hmm,
take the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and the Lamanis of that region along with
hmm,
them. So that is where they would hope to reap rich political dividends in that region.
hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Again, probably you can scroll up. You can go to Gulbarga, and you can probably we can stop at Gurmatkal. I can
Hmm.
give you the number as well. Um, on maybe in the 40s, 41,
You know,
40,
I
41.
I may have, let me, I You
No,
should have this.
yes. Um,
So Kalaburgi district,
yeah,
Gulbarga, Uttar.
yes, and you have number 40, Chittapur, Priyank Karge, Congress candidate,
Son
pitted
of
against
Mallikarjun Kharge.
son of Congress National President Mallikarjun Kharge. Priyank Kharge has already been an MLA and a minister once. He is pitted against a Lamani face, Manikanta Rathod. Manikanta Rathod is getting a lot of public fervor in favor of him. So this will actually be very interesting to watch out for. Priyank Kharge can actually win, but with a smaller margin. If you see the last time, the margin was not too
That's
much.
exactly what I was trying to say. The BJP narrowed down the margin by 16%. That is
And this time
unbelievable.
around, you have the Lamani wholeheartedly supporting their BJP candidate. So
Correct.
again, BJP strategy of trying to trap these Congress leaders to their own constituencies and hoping that BJP can reach out to electorate in the other regions. So this one is important. You can scroll all the way up to Belagavi. This is where there was some amount of discontent within the BJP. You had Ramesh Jarkiholi, the leader of that 15 MLA gang. Ramesh Jarkiholi would be from Gokak number 9.
Yes.
So he came into BJP, and BJP was generally already strong in Belagavi. Now with him coming, he went. He forced the BJP national leadership to give seats to his men, and that is why you had Lakshman Sawdi getting out of BJP. Lakshman Sawdi himself being the ex deputy chief minister. He is now from a seat called Athani. You have Jarkiholi man versus Lakshman Sawdi from Athani, which will be number 3 in that list. Number
Correct.
3, Athani.
Yes.
You have
Athani.
Kumtalli versus Lakshman Sawdi.
Yeah. What is interesting is Mahesh Kumatali was with the Congress. He switched to the BJP because of Ramesh Jarkiholi, and then now the situation is flipped. And if you look, I mean, Mahesh Kumatali, Lakshman Sawadi, then Mahesh Kumatali goes to BJP. Now Mahesh Kumatali and Lakshman Sawadi in 2023. So
exactly.
this is the
Lakshman
craziness.
Sawdi had won long time ago, and somehow he has not been able to win any election after that. But he keeps asking for too much. What I firmly believe in. Although he had lost, he was made the deputy chief minister by Yadurappa as a MLC. And again, that's what BJP keeps telling. We give you so much, and when we ask you not to contest, or when we tell that you cannot contest, you simply leave the party and go to Congress, and that is not fair. BJP is the way BJP is looking at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, Belagavi district would be something that to watch out for. BJP should do quite well, and out of 18, I think BJP should be looking at nothing less than 11, 12. In that particular district.
One interesting seat I wanted to bring up was Badami. Badami was where Siddaramaiah stood on the second seat, and B. Sriramulu last time almost beat him. The margin of victory for them was 1,600 votes. This time Siddaramaiah is not fighting from Badami. You have Shanta Patil, and then BB Chimanakatti is fighting from the Congress. So again, it should be a very close contest in Badami, which is in the Bagalkot district. But Belagavi, as you said, is the key, because that is along with Bengaluru. Belagavi and Bengaluru, both these have been a catchment area, so to speak, for BJP, and BJP would be hoping for at least 25 to 30 seats from both at a minimum.
At a bare minimum, yes. They need to max out these two districts.
Yeah, so if BJP out of their about those two districts, and I'm not counting Bangalore rural, because if you add that, then it comes out to be about 50 seats, 55 seats. But just Belagavi and Bangalore urban is about 46 seats. And if BJP has to win, they have to get at least 30 out of those 46 to get a respectable number, at least close to the halfway mark. If BJP gets down to like 20, right, they are in big trouble. Big trouble.
Game over. Yeah, game over. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
So
even in the map, Belagavi is in the northwest corner, Bangalore is in the southeast corner, so diametrically opposite. But BJP would want to max out these two regions.
correct. So that is so to speak. So I'll stop sharing the individual constituencies, and now I want to talk about the state in general. What have we seen in terms of the polls? What do you think? The pre-polls, the alliances and stuff. Apparently, the left is also fighting. Aam Aadmi Party is also there. They are also trying to do rallies. So are they even a factor? Or are they like just seen as a nuisance?
They're not seen as nuisance, but people don't care about Aam Aadmi Party that much. If they might actually have any presence, it might just be in one or two constituencies, simply because of the local candidate, not beyond that. I don't think Karnataka is looking at Aam Aadmi Party as a viable alternative. That is
Is
not
there
true
a
at all.
reason why Karnataka is done with the Aam Aadmi Party? Because we were told that, oh, Bangalore is the city, and, people, IT capital, and you might have a catchment area for Aam Aadmi Party and so forth. What do you think?
Probably because Aam Aadmi Party did not invest so much in Karnataka back then, A. B. Karnataka does not invest so much of its time into smaller parties like say NCP or JDU, and beyond the point, even KJP, right, of Yediyurappa. It is difficult even for local leaders to spin out a party and try to capture power. Karnataka never supports that kind of a mentality. So all these are factors in a state like Karnataka. And even if you capture the hearts and minds in Bangalore, Karnataka is a far bigger state. So just by winning 5 or 6 seats in Bangalore, hypothetically, you still are a nobody in the entire state. So that way it will be very difficult for any aspiring party to come to Karnataka.
In a strange sort of way, KJP, or the Karnataka Janata Paksha, was not even one issue party. It was a one election party. Everyone and their uncle knew that the minute if Yediyurappa manages to defeat the BJP in one election, and if Narendra Modi talks to Yediyurappa, he will come back. He has come back, and this time his son has been given a ticket from Shikaripura, his old seat, and Raghavendra is going to sweep that seat because that's a safe bastion for BJP. But that has all. Sorry, Vijayendra. I don't know why I got.
Raghavendra is another son. He is the MP from Shimoga. Vijayendra is the local hair for Yediyurappa.
So I did not get my names wrong. I just mixed up the sons. So Raghavendra,
the brothers.
Brothers. So I mean, and because of that, you see Yediyurappa also coming out with a very invigorated thing. What we talked about in the first podcast, that BJP seems to have talked him into it, and so he came out very forcefully against Jagdish Shettar. He says this is an unforgivable crime, leaving the BJP. I've done it once and I've paid for it, and so forth. So the Lingayat vote again is at the key, because if B.S. Yediyurappa is going to campaign the way BJP is expecting him to, then BJP again would make a huge dent, and with Basavaraj Bommai as the face.
Yeah, a lot of discussion you can see about who would be the next chief minister, and if at all BJP is treating Lingayat harshly. And BJP has been forthright in telling, even if we have asked the Lingayat leader to retire, we have replaced one Lingayat leader with another Lingayat youth leader. So that way, I think BJP is trying to prove its point that it is pro-Lingayat, and it has gone that extra mile in announcing that if BJP comes back to power, it will have a
Hmm.
Lingayat chief minister all over again,
Hmm.
which is something that BJP now, the ball is now in Congress's court. BJP is
Hmm.
now trying to drive home the advantage in telling Congress is actually anti-Lingayat. We again spoke about it in our earlier episode, wherein Virendra Patil was
Virendra
unceremoniously
Patil,
removed.
exactly. So
And
for Wo's
so,
story, please go back to that episode for sure.
yeah, so
So
that way, I think Congress tried to drive a wedge between Lingayat and BJP in the past 1 week, but I don't think it would go any further, simply because Lingayats have pretty much been with the BJP all along.
So in the last 3 weeks, two polls have come out. One is the ABP C voter poll that gives Congress 115 to 127 seats, BJP 68 to 80, and JDS 23 to 35. And then there has been South First People's Pulse. I've not heard of them, but I mean, they have done two polls, and the first and their polls have been almost similar. One they did in January and one they did in April, where Congress in the second one is getting 95 to 105, BJP 90 to 100, and JDS 25 to 30. Now, if the
Hmm.
difference between Congress and BJP is like 5 or 6 seats, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, what
Yes.
does this tell us, Kishore? Is this as close as people think it is?
It is absolutely close. Parties are fighting for every single vote,
Mhm.
and BJP is trying to convert it into a local level contest in all
Mhm.
224 constituencies. And again, in fact, there are many more opinion polls that have come out. Some of them
Mhm.
say Congress would be the single largest party. Some of them say BJP would be the single largest party. None of them are giving a comfortable majority to anybody. So that
Mhm.
way, right now things are out in the open. Both parties are still struggling. Now, the
Mhm.
reason why we are in the stage right now is because JDS is not imploding. The reason for that is Kumaraswamy did a statewide yatra called
Mhm.
Pancharatna Yatra, and
Mhm.
with that, he was able to capture the attention of the voters in the old Mysuru region, and that is
Mhm.
one reason why JDS is not imploding. And
Mhm.
therefore, because JDS is not imploding, Congress is not able to win those seats because traditionally, old Mysore is where you have a straight fight between JDS and Congress, and because
Mhm.
of that, BJP is still in with a chance right now. So I think that's how
So,
things pan out
would
right
you
now.
say that for BJP to do better, it is almost hoping that JDS crosses that 17-18% mark?
It has to stick on to 17-18. It cannot go beyond that. There is no other
Mhm.
catchment area for JDS. So
Mhm.
BJP would hope that JDS continues with its 15 to 17% votes, and
Mhm.
BJP itself would capture another 3-4% votes,
Mhm.
and win maybe 3-4 more seats from Old Mysuru
Mhm.
region, and that is the best bet for BJP.
That's the best bet for BJP. Fascinating, fascinating. I think this is a great point to end this part of the podcast. But before you go, Kishore, what is your prediction? You have to tell me your prediction before. I'm not saying seat wise, right now, which party is ahead and things like that.
Um, Okay, I would still stick my neck out and say BJP 105 to 110 right now, and very close to half a mark, but not touching it. And Modi has yet to come down. BJP would have carpet bombing of its rally. So again, beyond Gujarat and beyond UP, Karnataka is one state where people are mad about Prime Minister Modi, and
Hmm.
Modi does have a big impact on the electorate of the state. So BJP
Hmm.
would hope to capitalize on that and hopefully cross the halfway mark. But as things stand today, I think BJP is the largest party with around 105 to 110. Congress
Mhm.
around say 95 in that range, and JDS as always in that 25-30 range.
Hmm. Absolutely. So I think I would lean towards the same. I think BJP is will be around 90 seats. I think BJP is at a point that's a bare minimum in terms of this. If BJP goes below 90, if BJP goes to like 75 or 80, you will have a Congress sweep, because I don't see JDS crossing
Hmm.
25 or 30 seats. So if you put 25 for the JDS and 90 for the BJP, that is already close to, more than the halfway
No,
mark. Then
no,
you
I
are
had
looking at a
105. I had 105 for BJP, 95 for Congress, and
no,
25
no, I got correct. No,
for
no, but I'm
JDS.
saying no. I'm saying the other way. I'm saying 90 is the bare minimum that BJP will get. So I'm saying even if they get
Hmm.
90 and JDS gets 25, that is still more than halfway mark, and Congress is in trouble. So for Congress to
Hmm.
win, they have to keep JDS to below 25, about 20, and BJP around
Exactly.
75 to 80. Yes. So that is the
Exactly.
magic
Yeah.
number, so to speak.
Yes, and
So
one thing that I have seen in all the discussions in the past 15, 20 days is BJP is not imploding for the anti-incumbency. There is no major anti-incumbency as such. People's anger is not so visible. Definitely not in North Karnataka. Definitely not in coastal. In fact, BJP is now on the offensive, trying to make further inroads in Old Mysuru region. So I don't think BJP will fall below 90 at all. So that's something that does not seem to be a possibility right now.
absolutely. Well, whatever happens, we'll be here talking about the post poll and what happens, and maybe all the fun stories that come from Karnataka. Once again, this has been a great pleasure, Kishore. Before we let you go, in the Mind podcast tradition, any recommendations you have for our viewers or listeners this week? Any fun things you've watched or listened to or heard?
Nothing much. I've been totally focusing on elections this time around. But go watch any new age Kannada movie on any of the OTTs. Kannada movies were not so popular in the recent past, but say in the
Mm,
past 3 4 years, we have hit the right note. Many
mm,
there have been many Kannada movies which people have started liking. So do pick any one of them. One example can be Garuda Gamana Vrishabha Vahana, available on
mm.
Z5, of a story of Mangalore. So that can be a movie. You can pick any new age Kannada movie. People would love it.
To be able to do it.
Again, that would throw light on the culture, the people, and what is important for Kannada people. So pick any Kannada movie and watch it.
Yeah, yeah, fascinating. And by the way, we talking about movies. We didn't say Sudeep actually spoke out in favor of Basavaraj Bommai, and Prakash Raj had a 3-day meltdown on Sudeep speaking up. So Kannada
I don't.
cinema
Yeah.
actually.
So what Prakash Rai? His name is actually Prakash Rai, similar to
Acha,
Aishwarya Rai.
acha,
When he went to Tamil industry, he did not
huh.
want to be cast as a stereotyped as a Kannada slash coastal Kannada person. So he changed his name from Prakash Rai to Prakash Raj.
Oh,
Anyway, what he did was he tweeted telling, "I don't think Sudeep will join BJP. This is a BJP gimmick." Then he
hmm,
went and sat next to Bommai. So he said, "I don't think Sudeep will support Bommai." Then when he got to know that he is in fact supporting Bommai, then he directly tweeted to Sudeep telling, I don't think you should have done this. You have
yeah.
kind of lost your thought, your thinking." So
Hmm,
Prakash Rai ended up thinking for Sudeep, while Sudeep
hmm,
kept telling that I can think for myself. So yeah, that was that brief meltdown. But yeah, the reason why Sudeep campaigning for Basavaraj Bommai is important is
hmm,
that he belongs to the Valmiki community, the scheduled tribes. And in that region of northeast Karnataka, the Hyderabad Karnataka, BJP wants to use Sudeep in many rallies, trying to woo the voters there, and that is where BJP would hope that Sudeep would actually be a vote catcher for the party.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, popular faces matter because even if they're not vote catcher, they help you push the narrative. And just if not for anything, people like us have derived great entertainment looking at Prakash Raj's frequent meltdowns on Twitter over new issues. So who knows what is the next issue that he's going to melt down upon. But my recommendation would be, again, watch some interesting Kannada cinema. I was surprised. I keep watching interviews. Again, Amol Palekar, who I disagree with on a lot of things, but he was, talking about him being in Kannada cinema with Anant Nag and MS Satyu. There were rumors of Anant Nag actually becoming very close to the BJP also. I
Yeah.
don't know, what happened after that.
No, there,
But,
no,
but
there was a rumor that he would come and join BJP. The
correct.
date was informed, the time was informed, but somehow that did not happen.
That did
But
happen. But, there
it
are
was a
other ways
known
of subtle.
it was a known fact that Anant Nag is a Modi fan, and
Yeah,
he was actually from the Janata Dal. He was an ex minister in charge of Bangalore development, but he has
lovely.
not been active in politics anymore.
No, but the reason I brought all these up is because Kannada cinema has, maybe it has not gone in the heart and minds of North India, but there were a lot of Kannada cinema stars. They were very popular or doing work. MS Satyu was doing work in cinema. You had again Anant Nag, like that I said. Prakash Raj did a lot of films as well. Sudeep did work with Mr. Bachchan. In 2010 itself, where
Mm.
he played his son in a movie in Run. So there are many Aishwarya Rai you mentioned. So there are many interesting cultural connects and stuff. But for that, watch those things. And for me, my recommendation would be a show I just watched called Jubilee, which is a love letter through the Indian cinema
Mm.
of the 1940s, where you have Prithviraj Kapoor, Raj Kapoor, Himanshu Rai, Devika Rani, Ashok Kumar. Now, which one is who? You'll have to see the show and write to me and see if you figure out the hack tips that the director gives. But fair to say, we love our politics, we love our cinema, enjoy them both, and come back on Mindmakers to write to us, to talk with us. It's been lovely chatting with you, Kishore. We'll be back soon with another podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow Kishore on all the social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you.
Thank you.